Find out your Enneagram personality type right now. The Enneagram is an ancient and powerful tool for understanding and transforming our personalities. With its 9 basic types, the diagram helps us to understand what motivates and challenges us, what our core desires and root fears are, and how we are likely to relate to others. More importantly, the Enneagram reveals our natural blueprint for success, helping us to unlock the secrets behind our behavior patterns, to manage our blind spots, and to free us from self-sabotaging behavior that just doesn't serve us anymore. It's a profound knowledge system that turns our inner obstacles into inner strengths. It frees us from being trapped in ignorance and shows us how to become all that we were born to be. We'll look at each of the 9 types in some detail, but first, as a simple entry point, the InnerlifeSkills unique approach divides these 9 personality types into 3 subgroups that we like to call the personality pearls. Just as pearls are formed around an irritant inside of an oyster, so do our personality types form around a core irritant, a grain of sand, a primal shared pain point that we each respond to in our own way. Our job is to turn our inner grains of sand into priceless pearls. The 3 red pearls, which is 8, 9, and 1, all share anger as their core irritant, and they tend to be gut-based and use an instinctive approach to the world. The 3 green pearls, 2, 3, and 4, all share shame or low self-esteem as their core irritant, and they tend to be heart-based, using their feelings when dealing with the world. The 3 blue pearls, 5, 6, and 7, all share fear as their common irritant, and these people are head-based, mind-orientated. They use thinking as their primary approach to the world. Have you ever watched the waves rising in the ocean? It is true that every wave is unique. When you see a wave, there will never be another one exactly the same as that wave. But it is also true that if we study the waves, we can find patterns that help us to understand the behavior and to predict the outcomes of those waveforms. Just so, each personality is unique. Each of us is unique. We are a unique expression. However, if we study those patterns of expressions, we find 9 basic personality types through the Enneagram system. Now, all 9 types use their heads, their guts, and their hearts, but of course we tend to rely on one the most. This is our center of gravity. Is your center of gravity in the mind, in your thoughts, or in your gut instinct, very much in the body? Or are you driven mostly by your heart's feelings and your emotional needs? It's important to remember that the Enneagram does not focus so much on our behavior, because we can all behave in similar ways. But rather, it's important to focus on the why behind the behavior, the motivation behind the behavior. What is the inner programming that drives us? Mostly these are unconscious, and one of the gifts of the Enneagram is to become truly conscious to our unconscious programming. So our challenge is to look really honestly and deeply at ourselves, to glimpse what is really going on inside. What's my own inner narrative? What informs my decisions and my actions? So here's the breakdown. If you're one of the red pearls, you are driven mostly by instinct, and you're moved from a gut perspective. Your subconscious response to reality, which is what you're quietly, unconsciously scanning for, is how are you being impacted on, or how are you impacting reality? And your default response when you're under pressure is a range of feelings from mild irritation to anger to full-on rage. And this response demonstrates that at some unconscious level, the red pills are resisting reality, resisting the way things are, to various degrees and in various ways. The irony is that some anger types, for example the 9 on the Enneagram, seems to be the least angry of all the types. That is because anger travels inwards and is mostly suppressed. That is until they explode. And oh boy, it's like a volcano erupting. 8s, however, sit very much presently in their anger, and it seems to radiate outwards, and they show it quite readily, whereas 1s tend to contain their anger in a tight and controlled and managed way. The red pills can react in anger in many forms, from a low-grade volume gentle growl to a high-volume all-out rage, but we'll talk about this more later on. The blue pills. The head cases, as we affectionately call our blue pill friends, are driven mostly by thought, the mind. When you enter a room as a blue pill, you use your mind to consider things and to determine your course of action. Your center of gravity is very much in the mind as you categorize, plan, or mentally examine life to understand it. You tend to have a more anxious disposition, with an undercurrent of insecurity, worry, or fear. As a blue pill, your unconscious response to reality, what you are quietly scanning for, is security, a feeling of being safe in the world. And like the other pills, you do this in 3 ways. 5s create a sense of security in themselves when they feel isolated and separate from the rest of the world, so that they can watch and observe in order to learn and understand and gain a deep, in-depth knowledge of what they are observing. 6 feel safe when they find support, reassurance, feedback in the world. Also when they uncover any potential threats and have made a contingency plan to feel safe. 7s feel safe when they're a moving target. They're always looking ahead and imagining a better tomorrow, reframing everything in the positive to avoid feeling trapped, which makes them feel very insecure. Under stress, blue pills respond along the fear continuum, anything from mild anxiety and nervousness or restlessness to full-blown horror, panic, and paranoia. The green pills wear their hearts on their sleeve and are driven mostly by emotional need. Your heart is the primary driver if you're a green pill, and you are moved by your feelings. Your subconscious response to reality, which is what you're quietly, unconsciously scanning for, is how are you being seen by the world? And you find different ways to feel better about yourself, hoping to be seen in a certain way that will boost your self-esteem. 2s, for example, feel good when they're seen as loving and needed by others. 3s tend to feel better about themselves when they're seen as winners or as achievers. 4s need to be seen as unique or different to the rest of the world, special in some way. They're searching for identity in order to feel worthy. When green pills are under pressure, they're likely experiencing varying degrees of self-worth pain. A softer volume of this would include just self-consciousness, embarrassment. A stronger volume would manifest as deeply hurt as vanity and even emotional hysteria. But more details on this later. Now, if you're not sure whether you're a red, green, or blue pill, don't worry yet. It takes time. The more we visit each type, the clearer we become.